Hello, good morning, good morning. To be honest, I could take this off. As you can see, I've got a face. So today I just want to talk about the corona, I think. And I think also that possibly people are overreacting fear-wise. I mean, it is contagious, but it will only, if it gets 2%, at least 2% of the population, will die from it. And it may be higher than that, which sounds, sounds quite terrible. But if you compare it to other things like, so that's 2%, if you compare it to something like cancer, which appears to be, I think they said 1 in 3 or 1 in 4 people will get cancer in their lifetime. And from that, getting cancer, you have a 50% chance of dying, even if they treat you. So in the early stages, they can prevent it. However, that's kind of the mortality. So you look at other things in the world and how many people they've killed. And for the UK, for cancer, it's about 164,000 out of about 320,000 cases. That's in 1 year. So, and what's corona's impact? 20,000 globally. So that was just for the UK. Their cancer stats. For the globe, I would hate to think how many people die of cancer each year. Yeah, we're sort of over worried about little things like this, because I guess there's a few issues. One, you can't control it, but you can't really control cancer, and two, they haven't made an industry out of it yet. So it's just go around killing people, and I guess these people in the sort of the state's eyes are their property, and they're civilians. So I think it's just a bit blown out. I was trying to find the flu stats, but it was quite difficult to get hold out how many people die of flu each year. It gives you an idea of how dangerous it is. But to be honest, wearing things like face masks and this kind of protocol will protect you from other viruses that you could potentially get. It could do you a lot of harm as well. So it's not a bad thing. There's also predictive programming. People are doing stuff what the TV tells them, which is a little bit dodgy. Like coming out, everyone was going clapping like that. So last night I come out from one of my clients I was working with, and then there was some like the next door neighbour clapping and go, "Oh, well done, he's doing a great job." But the thing is, I'm not interested in praise. I didn't get into it because I was looking for somebody to clap in the street for me. It's my job and it's what I do. If you're kind of like the healer, you don't seek these things. I'm not doing something I wouldn't normally do, so it seems a bit over the top. And I would prefer if these people start wearing protective gear in public rather than clapping, because if they care about people, then they should be wearing like a face mask. You go into places like shops and stuff like that, and nobody wears any protective gear. They'll think, oh well, if you're 2 meters away from somebody, you can't catch it, and that is equivalent of duck and cover when it came to nuclear bombs. It's just not going to work, because when it says airborne, it's floating, and it can move around with the air currents. So you'll breathe it in. It needs to actually, the only way it can stop is if it does land on a surface like a mask. At least it will be dry up on it, or it eventually will break through that barrier. But that's a point. You just have to have different masks. The material masks, I mean, they're not, once you get hold of one, I mean, it's not exactly rocket science to make something like that. I just need to have it, you could make it out of a hand towel or something. The same for the other ones. The same for the other ones, things like this. I mean, once you've got that, it's like, if you get this shape, you could change it a little bit, but there's nothing particularly special about that. So I think that's what people need to do, start making their own face masks. That'll make a big difference, especially when they're out. And also, if I visit a client and they potentially think they could be under the weather or there's a risk, wear the mask as well. Jesus. 2 people wear masks, the chance of them passing it between each other has been reduced to a further half. It can go on surfaces like skin. That's going to be a problem as well, because nobody wants to keep putting detergents on their hands and alcohol gel. It just starts damaging the epidermis, and that's the problem. I'm going to start putting moisturiser will go up through the roof, or make your own. To find a way to sterilise it. I mean, I might be able to make a hand gel using aloe vera. If you've got an aloe vera plant, just cut in the pulp, get the pulp out. That may be a way to turn that into, and then add an alcohol into it, because you just want something slightly thicker than water to go on your hands, and the aloe vera also would moisturise it, so there's a few extra properties in there that could help out in the pulp. If you notice, I've just touched my face several times. Probably I can't touch it at all when I've got this thing like that. But it's low risk. I was wearing gloves earlier, and I've just, to be honest, my life is fairly isolated at certain levels anyway. I don't try to mix with as many people as possible. I just do my own thing. That's pretty much the way I do. Maybe that's why I don't like this false praise stuff. But the other thing about predictive programming, and where somebody says, you've got to do this because show your appreciation, or if you see someone in a crowd, take a picture of them and report them to the police, or if they're not observing social distances and stuff like that. The impact of doing that makes people less trusting of their own community. I think is actually for each of us to take care of their safety. If you think, especially if somebody's got a remote part of it, anything that looks like remotely like illness, you say, well, could you not be here, or whatever you need to say to this person to get them out of your way in a nice way. I think really when it comes to touching your face, you just want to avoid this part of your mouth. But however, if you get germs, you start rubbing it around. So what would you need to do? Maybe a protocol of wash your face. There might be some sort of antibacterial stuff. They don't like, to be honest, you'll get this in sunscreen. They won't like copper, and you get sunscreen that's got copper in it as well. So it's good. So if you get something with silver, well, silver probably makes it grey in the sunlight. Copper should be fine. Yeah, certain minerals will upset it. I don't think it would like salt too much, salty stuff. And just give yourself a face a good clean. But then equally, should you clean your face before you eat as well? Because you're bound to touch your face, or do other things. So maybe wash your hands, wash your face. Whatever you need to do. I've been using as a protocol. Just been using sort of. I've got some here actually. So this is my rum spray. So it's just to sanitise the throat, it's not to get me drunk or anything. And as it goes in, so you want enough so you can feel a slight burn, slight tickle, so it gets the throat. And as I breathe it down, it will go into the chest. It'll probably come to this part of the area of the chest. It won't get too far in the lungs. There's other techniques as well. So if you go, I've got a few other things. I haven't tried this one on yet. So I've got this one is from my work as well. But yeah, other techniques is control your breathing. So slow down your breathing in the queue if you've got a mask on, because there's people around you and they go do stuff like that. It can be a bit off-putting, and if you lower the breathing right down, so it's here. That's a potentially the virus that it can only impact there if you do get it. And by lowering your breathing, you're not sucking in so much. So something like coughing, it might be airborne, and like a balloon, you've drawn it in. So yeah, the other thing is, somebody coughs, and it's floating, and then they go, and it's moving, and it is literally like the balloon. It's sort of floating across the room, and that gives you an idea of how long it takes to get across the room. It can get to you, so it's just like airborne particles spinning like that. There's also convection currents as well, and other things that are keeping it slightly airborne. So it's drifting. It's like the aeroplane. You throw an aeroplane, and then if you sort of blow it, you can affect it slightly. Or people walking past something, it just causes a current. It just causes a ripple effect as it come off your body. As you move like that, you're causing this sort of wave effect. So it's going like this out the side of you as the air's hitting you. So you're spinning off the other air into other people's directions. So yeah, basically in crowds, breathing control. If someone's coughing, you can hold your breath. Maybe get used to holding your breath for short periods of time. I mean, if someone's coughing their guts out and it was by the exit to a store and I needed to walk past them, I'd just go. But the only problem is you need to usually breathe in more air to refill your lungs after that. I mean, there's Wim Hof's method of breathing. I mean, you could do that in a quite clear place, a place you think the oxygen's good and there's no chance of infectious agents. You're just taking a lot more oxygen. before you enter that environment. And it's not really a virus you can stop. You can slow it down, but yet again, some people get it and they will die of it because it can't be stopped because of their immune system can't handle it, or their body's overreacting. They can put them on ventilators and so on, but they're still, I mean, they boost their chances. There's still a chance they might just die from it because they've just got this susceptibility to that particular strain. Another thing as well is family resistance to it. So from your genetic profile. So recently I've discovered from my mother that my uncle's got COVID-19, and he's been just told to well, basically stay in. He's self-isolating, and the doctor's calling up each day to check how he's doing. Now, based on how he pulls through from it, will give me an idea of my resistance to the virus. I think he's doing all right, to be honest, because obviously they'd have taken him straight to hospital. If they just told him to rest at home, then I think to be honest, it comes across as low risk, and I think his symptoms are mild. I'm just going to have to watch this space and see what happens. But, you know, even though our immunity changes throughout our life, it still has a blueprint of its original, you know, from the parent. And there's other factors that might boost your immune system, like if you're breastfed and things, little things like that. Because stem cells in breast milk and things like that from the mother. So, and also if you're natural birthed or if you were C-sectioned, it's only because the bacteria in your mother is tuned, is symbiotic basically to the parent, and so if it gets transferred to the child, it's fine. It's a bit like when babies are born, people hug them, and what they're doing also, they're transferring. There's what the bacteria lives on your skin. You're not entirely clean, and it's there to help you. So there we go. And there's some other things. I've got my MMS. I need to probably take another shot of that. It's having a time when I'm a stomach. I've got to be on an empty stomach really. My eating habits went out a bit yesterday, but I need to put it in for the fasting. But I literally just have one meal, and then maybe, like last night, I had the main meal, and then I got to the night time, and I had a big bag of crisps, and that was it. Which probably isn't a great thing, but it's not the worst thing I could have eaten. I wouldn't necessarily learn as a maintenance. I wouldn't lose any weight. It just sort of would have halted that process, I believe. And then this morning I had some sort of brioche thing to keep me sort of ticking over. I just a bit tired when I wake up, I guess. But there's other ways you can deal with fasting. The other thing I was thinking about plants going into fasting. With plants, most effective watering them at night. Okay, and because we've got mitochondrial DNA in our DNA that runs our cells, and also the design, we might run similar to, not exactly like plants, but you do fill up your fluids into your like cartilage and so on, and also your discs in your spine. So drinking fluid at night might be not a bad thing. The only issue is you might wake up early for a wee, but that's the worst of it. You know, if you wake up and have a wee, you go back to bed, don't you? It's not the end of the world, not unless you've got a bladder problem, and it help cleanse your body a bit as well. So that might be a good idea. Anyway, this has been the sign of this video. I'm going to put a little meditation and crack on with my work. So anyway, take care, have a great day, and stay safe. Bye.